When learning to write, there's 4 sets of foundational skills that children need to develop in order to efficiently write. Those include prewriting skills, letter formation, legibility, and fluidity and speed of writing. Before children learn to write, they need to develop their prewriting skills. They need practice making marks in different directions and shapes, like you can see here. If a child can't make the basic marks, they are not likely to find it easy to learn to write. For example, if you can't draw a diagonal line, you are unlikely to draw a triangle or to reliably form the shape of the letter W. Doing these pre-writing activities can also help develop other skills like crossing the midline, developing visual perceptual skills, and other underlying skills that might need support. Start with the pre-writing shapes, as we need these before we're ready to develop and learn how to write letters and numbers. Here are some tips for teaching pre-writing shapes to children. First, have them imitate these pre-writing shapes. So they could sit next to you while you draw these shapes and they follow along, or you could draw the shape and then they draw the shape, or you could bring them a worksheet with these shapes already created and then they try to copy them. So that's one way of developing the shapes. You can also consider drawing these large shapes in the air, on a chalkboard, or on different types of paper. Consider multi-sensory experiences, so drawing these shapes using chalk outside on the road, drawing them in a sandbox, drawing them through shaving foam, lentils, paint, sandpaper, lots of different sensory experiences to develop those pre-writing shapes. Draw the strokes within context, so practicing drawing a house that has windows and doors to practice those vertical, horizontal, and diagonal lines. Consider using different materials to practice pre-writing shapes, so straight lines with spaghetti or ice pop sticks. You can also use wiki sticks to make all the different shapes we spoke of previously. After developing the pre-writing skills, we now need to look at letter formation. There are 26 letters to learn, so you should consider grouping them to consolidate a shape or a motor pattern. This also helps to separate common reversals. So here on your screen, you can see one way of grouping them. We have the anti-clockwise circles, the straight letters, the down, up and over letters, the down, round and up letters, and then the other letters that don't fall into those categories. Having the correct formation of letters is important for handwriting fluency and speed later on in life. Consider that most letters start from the top and that consistency is key. So the same letters and the same approaches should be used at home, at school, and if your child is interacting with an occupational therapist. The primary place a child learns to write is in school, so it's important that that consistency is there. One approach that occupational therapists frequently use is the Handwriting Without Tears program. It's an approach that teaches the correct strokes and sequence of letters through a variety of approaches, including multisensory approaches. So they include using the wooden pieces that you see here on your screen for big line, big curve, little curve to make different letters. You have the Mat Man song to explore the pre-writing shapes, singing different songs about writing. You have the wet, dry, try method that you can use with a little chalkboard, stamp and see, and rolling Play-Doh into different shapes. It initially focuses on capital letters, firstly focusing on vertical and horizontal letters like L, F, E, H, T, I, U. You have the magic C, which is the basis for the letters C, O, G, S, and J. We have big curves and little curves in D, P, and B. And then lastly, it looks at the diagonals, which are present in letters like R, K, A, V, M, N, W, X, Y, and Z.